Just skipping the start screen here. Let's have a sip of water. And let's just wait a second till everybody drops in. So just realized that I passed 900 followers on Twitch. That is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. So let me just quickly check if everything runs okay on YouTube too, without playing some audio here. Seems like audio here. Yes. Audio here. Yes, perfect. Hey Arnold, how are you doing? No gamer tag today. Yeah, it's Monday, I know. So yeah, it was pretty kurzfristig. Yeah, but I just announced, I think last time, that I will be live Monday, because we're going to take a look today at at PerfPerc by Performance Samples, and PerfPerc Volume 2 actually. Hey Joy, how are you? Nice to see you here. So now we know that the YouTube notification works faster than the one on Twitch. Hey DJ Adam, nice to see you. Good evening. So just be warned already if you hear a dog barking later on, because my girlfriend is here and she has, or we have, the dog of her mom currently at our place, and she's completely new to, you know, the environment, to the lights, and to the new apartment. She actually never has been here. I mean the dog, not my girlfriend. But so they're currently out taking a walk. When they back, don't be, you know, surprised if you just have some, hear some dog barking or somebody lurking up somewhere here. I'm looking forward for that. Hey Sylvie, how are you? Hey Airsick Titan, Super Nap, moin. How are you guys doing? I should do some more spontaneous streams. What I will definitely actually do will just drop in sooner or later, a little bit earlier during the day, because I remember somebody said, you know, it's always like 3 or 4 a.m. So I'm kind of sorry for that person, you know, when he or she, I can't remember who it was exactly, when they are in, and then, you know, it's like, I have to go to bed, I have to work tomorrow, it's 4 a.m. That's, you know, that's passionate to say hi on the stream. And when you have to get up 3 hours later, I really appreciate this. So what have you guys planned for the week? So I know already that I will be, hey, Spectral Atmosphere, nice to see you. Hey, Nadia, nice to see you. And Smuts, thanks for being here. And Erika Risers, thank you for resubscribing for 7 months. You absolutely rock. Thank you so much, man. So I will be here on Wednesday too. Tomorrow I will be at a little recording session for something upcoming. Pretty curious what this will be about. And actually on Friday, I think it's like the first time since like 1 or 2 years that I will go away for like a few days only. Just traveling around in Germany a little bit. No, it's actually nothing to do with the gent. It has more to do with, let's say, vocals. I can say that much. Hey V Savatsky, nice to see you here. So let me just check if I missed somebody. Blue Whale Sounds, hey there. Great to see you here. So today we are going to take a look. Well, actually, yes. That's a good question, because that's good timing, actually, because that's why I said I will be here on Wednesday, and we will be taking a look. We will be exploring the new Keep Forest stuff, Ferrum, on Wednesday. That I can say already. I just have to jump in sooner or later to just so we continue composing. Probably tonight we will spend time for Performance Percussions Volume 2 or PerfPerc Volume 2. Basically, I'm also not sure if I could make it like 2 full hours or something, so it may be just a little bit of a tighter stream, but we will see. Hey Maximilian, thanks for being here. I already had like the lip loaded, so I can already do some sound effects. Yes, I got this little thing actually, the Atom controller by Presonus. I really love it. I think with some libraries, there is a little bit of a balancing problem. But actually it works pretty well. I really love it. You actually already can hear the cajon on performance PerfPerc. I always want to say performance percussion. I mean, that's like the full term. It's performance percussion, but I have to get used to the exact name PerfPerc. I got a notification that I'm live on YouTube. Thank you. So, yes, I found a solution for this velocity issue. I think it's more related to specific Kontakt libraries. I think it's related to how damage and damage 2 is mapped, but in a way I'm not really sure where exactly the problems. I think it's not the library itself, but I think it's more like some Kontakt, you know, transmission from the Atom controller. I'm not really sure. I tweaked around a little bit with the velocity curves, because you can do all kinds of stuff by holding like a key, and then you can just turn the curve or tweak the curve and the velocity transmission and everything. Hey Bernie, how are you? Hey Ben, thanks for being here. So yes, it works now. It took a little bit, but I think there is something going on. It works okay with this library, but there is something going on. I'm not really sure if it's library related or a combination of everything. It's sometimes a little bit too easy to just blame some bug on something, you know, but sometimes you have like a plugin being faulty and then it crashes in Cubase, for example, and people are like, oh, fuck Cubase. But then again, the Cubase guys say, okay, well, this is a problem of the developer not having their lips up to date, and then the plugin developers say, well, there is a problem inside whatever Cubase, so we can't do it or whatever. Sometimes it's like a little bit of everything. Yes. There was a funny thing going on actually when I was hitting like 20 times with the same, roundabout the same velocity. You had like 1 or 2 samples dropping, skipping. It happens with some libraries, but not with all. Hey Amir, I'm fine, thank you. How are you? You rock too. Thanks for being here. Demon, hey, nice to see you. And Senko Mao, thanks for following. Okay, so before we hop into the library, you see like this banner floating through a little bit. So let me just quickly explain this so we don't have to type this all the time. But let me just go through it. So you see that discount code. It should be, wait, let me just try to find it. It should be right here in this second and moving slowly. So it's like, this is a 0. So A0291MN2Z8. And you get 45% off the Konmoto bundle, not the individual libraries, but the entire Konmoto bundle. You get 45% off Oceania 1, that is, and Flute Shorts 1, Flute Shorts 2, and Performance Percussion Volume 1. Okay, so just in case, Jasper was so kind to do this exclusively for the stream right now. So if you still consider to getting, let's just quickly go through that. Let me just open the website for a second. Demon, that's a good question. If I wouldn't like the library, I wouldn't have it in my stream. I know it sounds completely stupid or kind of, like arrogant or something, but it's really like, it's I just like to only talk about the stuff that I really love, So if there is something I don't really like, and I don't know, I don't want to. I tend to be that honest guy, and I try to be as natural as possible. We all sometimes act a little bit in a sense, but you guys would totally know just by looking at me if I would like something or not. If I just use something, if I just fool around with something, you totally would realize right now that something is wrong. So I just learned to be as natural and as honest as possible. So I would just talk about stuff that I really like, Yes, I know. I'm an evil spirit. I make people poor. I heard this very often. So, yeah, you're right. But there's no way for others to know if you like a lip or not. Then, right, of course. So, I mean, just to be honest, to me, basically all performance samples libraries are no-brainers because the way they are mapped and the way Jasper and his team, I'm not really sure how many people. So it's let me just switch. So it always says that it's just Jasper. He takes so much care and he has so many great ideas. Especially, I was just blown away. I think the first thing I got was like Flute Shorts 2 actually. And I was just blown away by the repetition sample. And he put something into the samples, and I know he analyzes performances. That's why it's called performance samples. So he analyzes what's happening during a performance, and then he's studying all these things and, just doing his magic. And then you hear like performance or repetition staccato or spiccato samples, to be precise. And yeah. And it just sounds amazing. Even with the percussion stuff, there is something going on that he seems to. The problem is that I try to bring across many times is that when you have, it works best when you have a guitar strum. The downbeat is actually happening when. Let me just switch again. When you have like the final note, like that the last bit of the strum hit like all keys. This is the downbeat. Guitar players never look forward to have the one, assuming it would be quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. They would always make sure to have the, let's say, the climax or the peak of that strum, not when they touch the strings first, but on the, on the slap down. And this is a good example, a strum, because it kind of builds up like this. But if you have percussion samples, it's just a hit. But there is something in front of the hit before the actual smack is happening. Of course, it depends on the sample itself. But he seems to cut that in a way that it sounds really cool when you play them, several times. When you play repetition samples, that are what I wanted to say. Blasphemy. How can you write Pfeffer bucks? Well, actually, that's clever. I see that right now. So actually, you should do PH to make it really work. But I'm afraid you can't get it for Pfeffer bucks tonight. he has improved on the playable role. So let's find that out. I mean, how does it compare? Performance Perf Percussion 1 and 2. I think you cannot compare them, because let's take a look at the website first. If we just compare, or if we just look at performance PerfPerc 1, this is actually, if you check the patch list, it's bongo, gran casa, high surdos, you got taikos, you got low surdos, you got low taikos, low toms, snare, timpani 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you just check, let's just switch over and let's see the list of PerfPerc 2. It's cajon, it's conga, it's djembe, it's frame drum, the gong drum, rain stick shakers, taiko, tambourine. So it's completely different samples. So that's why it's called volume 1 and 2. You cannot compare them, but these are completely two independent libraries. And also, I'm not sure how to compare, you know, a cajon in terms of fluidity towards a bongo, or a conga towards surdos or something. I'm not sure how to do this. So I'm not kind of a fan of, you know, doing these things of comparison. Besides that, it doesn't make sense on volume 1 and 2 because it's a continuation of that library. Yes, I know the Twitch stream is behind. You know, if you really want to be curious about the following, I compared the quality of the YouTube stream and the quality of the Twitch stream, and I honestly have to say the Twitch stream is top notch. It looks like a Blu-ray if you just watch it. If you check out the YouTube stream later on, it looks horrible. I'm sorry to say, it looks like a bad compressed JPEG. And they all got the same, you know, it's just restream, splitting the stream and broadcasting it to YouTube and broadcasting it to Twitch. Yeah. I tried to put my face mask on before. I see it didn't help when you say you can count the pores. No, well, the pores are not the same as pimples. I'm actually happy to be out that age, to be honest. Yeah, so something is going on with the YouTube compression. It's kind of, I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if it just takes a few days, but when I check like a day or 2 days later and I compare the two, so maybe that's a reason that Twitch is taking a little bit longer to process the actual stream and then put it on. Yes, I'm barely 18 years, so actually I'm actually 13 or 12, to be honest. It's just a little bit experience behind it. Just 12 years of age and 33 years of experience. That's how it is. I can't explain it any different. So, let's check out a few of these samples here, and let me just see if there's something that I missed. So just Demon, just quickly mentioning, we did a stream on PerfPerc Volume 1. If you just want to directly, you know, kind of getting an impression on the entire library, there is a live stream happening. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. Let me just see if we just play this here with maybe over there on the patch. So let's take a look, or let's take a listen to the cajon P1 hands. So this is this patch, so we can just mark this. Let's take a look at this. And what's also cool to mention is that if you just want to record that, there is always latency going on with minus 100 milliseconds. So if you play it, you can't really hear it right now because you maybe, yeah, just bumping the microphone. You maybe can see that there is some kind of latency going on, but it looks funny anyway because the video and the audio has latency also. So, but what I'm trying to say is when you hit the tighten knob, you have real-time control. So I would always, you know, kind of suggest that if you record something, the last thing wasn't good, but if I just check the last one here, that was more or less like 16th notes. So I'm it's kind of bad what I just played, but at least it is easier to play. Thanks Proximal Bog 310 8Y for following. Thank you so much. So let me just play this again. Let me just okay, so that's a little bit better. And so what is happening when you play? Let's just quantize this so we got this really on. So we have this really on quantized on the downbeat exactly. So you probably don't just pull it all up here. And then if I just lose the tighten button, you can't hear the click right now. So if you just drop the tighten command here, and you just have to put a negative delay of minus 100 milliseconds here, and then you're exactly on the downbeat again. And of course you want to make sure that the velocity is right and everything, but you will realize when you listen to the recorded phrase with all that repetition going on, that there is something happening in these samples that has been captured right before the downbeat that kind of connects when you play several ones. Tony, thanks so much for following. So the cool thing is that you can finally see or hear, hopefully, that the negative delay has been fixed in PreSonus Studio 1 5.0.1. So that's a thing of the past. We can finally all happily use performance samples and Audio Imperia libraries or Cinematic Studio Strings and all these things. So I think you get the idea. So whenever you want to play something, record something, and people are like, nah, but I can't play it live because there is so much latency going on, you simply hit the tighten button, and then you just be cool and play your stuff, and then you just get rid of the tighten command and then set the track to minus 100 milliseconds of negative delay. So just in case if you don't understand something about that negative delay stuff, just let me know. So this is the Cajon 1. Let's move on to the second one here. Let's replace this. Let me just close this one so you can also see the notes available. Let me just see if I forgot something on this. So no, this is just these 4 notes. Then we have the second one. Let me just hit the tighten. Second one. It's not baked in reverb. You got like 2 microphones, so you can just hit the solo button here on the close mics, and you got an absolute close mic'd signal. So you got, with most libraries, you have like all of these room microphones separate, so you can. So you can completely separate it. And the only thing is, the other thing is, what you have to see is how it sounds in the mix. Of course, if you just do an exposed cajon track and you just add like an acoustic guitar, it probably best to get rid of the room microphones. So, Demon, what kind of music would you use the instruments available in PerfPerc 2? You know, this is the thing. It's I have this philosophy, the same with cooking. It's like, you know, where do you put salt in? It's just, I have to see what needs salt. You know, what meal needs salt or pepper or curry or cinnamon or whatever. You know, I just don't say like, this always needs like, you know, salt and always 3 spoons. You never know if it's like a meal of for 4 people or just if you eat alone. I mean, probably you eat, you know, if you eat alone or for 4 people, you know, but if you just cook, you just have to sometimes you just have to taste and you just have to fool around. It may honestly happen that I have a track and perf percussion doesn't work at all, but this could also happen to LA modern percussion or storm drum or damage or whatever, you know, so you just have to fool around. There may be a track where damage 2 makes perfect sense, but you just need some spike on the top of something. I mean, not to say that there is not enough spike or not enough, you know, transient signals or drums happening in damage 2. But maybe you don't find the right thing. You just try and try and try. And then you add a little bit of PerfPerc volume 2 on top. And then it sounds crisp. So I like to keep it open-minded. The same with mixing. You know, if somebody says, how do you EQ your snares? Well, I don't know the other instruments. I don't know. How long do you steam your rice? Well, I don't know what other ingredients you want me to use. And if we say we make chicken tikka masala or something, then I know, okay, now I know how to treat the rice. Now I know how to treat the tomato sauce and, you know, like the curry. How do you say, like the curry mess? The curry cream or whatever. So I know I'm kind of a little bit special when it comes to this, but I'm not that, you know, loading a rock snare preset and then going from there. However, I know that we will definitely sneak in performance PerfPerc volume 1 and 2 in the track that we are currently composing with BBC Symphonic Orchestra by Spitfire, because I perfectly know there has to be some more percussion happening. So this is definitely where we want to use it. But in general, I can't say where I'm going to use this library, but it may work on anything. You know, also it sounds kind of natural. If you just hear that right now, let's load the next one. Let's load the Conga. To me, it perfectly sounds like when you are in an orchestra hall and you have the natural setup of a recording, not a studio, but like an orchestra hall where you're recording in. You have the conga standing that behind, or at this, you know, distance. So you may load it right into your session and it may work right away. Okay, so let's lose the tab. Oh, they're coming back. Where's the dog? Ah, so okay. Oh shit! It's raining. I forgot that she still has to clean the belly because she has like long hairs all everywhere. I mean, not my girlfriend, but the dog. So I have to make sure to clean her. Hey, nah. Oh, you can't see it. I can't just move the camera. Come here. Come here. No, I'm not interesting. No, I can't move the camera right now. Okay, just sit there. Have a nice day. Take your place. Take a cake. I'm not sure right now what is louder, if I just use the pad or the keys. Okay, let me just do this. It's just the dark purple is hard to read. Subwitz. Yeah, let's do this for a second. Let me just load something up to do like a little click. Let me just load in. What will be the best? Let me just load some click. Let me just load another Kontakt library. Let me just load some kind of drumsticks from whatever, you know, like. Oh, Wednesday. Okay, so Get Good Drums. Let's load some Get Good Drums. Let's load Helpin' Drums, whatever. Oh no. Oh, this is still the wrong one. Yes, it looks good. No. Oh, they just moved it to the another one, to the, let's load the let's lose this one. Yeah, I don't want to route around the metronomes, but I don't know how it works in Studio One, to be honest. So I just... So let's use this one here. How do you render the metronome right away in Studio One? To be honest, I never did it because I never needed it. So we'll just, you know, put this somewhere here. Just have to take care that I'm not rolling over the dog right now, because she's... The wrench in the transport bar. Okay. Oh, here, render, right. So can I do this right now? Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. Thank you. This is good to know. So let's just use it. Let's just do it like this to be more precise. Let's just screw that. So let's just render, and that's cool. I didn't know this. Render loop range. Great. Now you hear that, right? Okay, so let's get rid of the drums. And let's just, you know, just copy that as long as we need it. Okay, so what I do right now is, now you can hear this when I just play this. So there's latency going on, round about minus 100, round about 100 milliseconds. If I just... So let's just set up a track with just switching between 8 notes, 16th notes or whatever. Something like this. And we just quantize this. So this sounds kind of funny. Let's copy this so we get a better impression. Copy this here. And now we just have to get rid of the desperately pressing buttons like crazy. So let's get rid of that. Oh shit! Sorry. I just sorry. I still have the -100 applied. So let's just turn this. That what was confusing me. So let's. If we listen to like this, you hear that there is the latency going on. It sounds like kind of drunk, but steady drunk. So let's hit the Tighten button. So this would be the one that you use when you're recording, when you're live recording your MIDI stuff. Now, obviously, this is the sample with just the cutoff, what's happened before the samples. As I mentioned before with the guitar strum, it's as if you would just hear the actual downbeat from, you know, from the highest dynamics, from the highest dynamic part. So we get rid of this, and then we just say -100 milliseconds, and then it sounds like this. Sorry, I should. So let's listen to this without click. And let's transpose it to the other keys. Sorry, E and F. Please keep in mind, I have it all right now on 127. Okay, so we should probably, to make it a little bit more realistic, we should at least look forward to, let me just get rid of this and put some dynamics in here. Maybe less. No, that's too. Let's put it up here. Richard, to answer your question again, so the MIDI pad controller I have right now in the corner here is the, let me just quickly switch the screen again. So it's the Atom controller, it's called Atom by Presonus, and it works just perfectly with Studio One. So I just plugged it in and everything was set up, and I can just even play my track from here and set in the click that you don't hear right now, because you can just hear the stream that is coming from the stereo bus. I could even start recording, so it's pretty cool. I can handle all kinds of stuff. I could even work from that controller, so I could edit entirely, you know, go through the notes, change velocity settings for everything. So It's completely crazy. It's well thought through, but I have the fader port standing here right now that you can't see. Oh, no, I can't. I won't move the camera, otherwise it just no, that doesn't work either. But the fader port is standing here right now, and I just love their hardware stuff because it's just well, thought out, well, let's say sorted out or ordered. I think it's like 160 or something, 170. So it's really affordable and it's really stable. So it's not like you get something and it just falls apart on the next day. Yeah, the funny thing is they have all kinds of funny stuff like note repeat. So I can hit like fourth. I can turn. Let me just switch that for a second again here. So I can hit like a note called note repeat, and I can hit fourth notes. And then over to eighth notes, 16th, 32nd notes, quarter note triplets, eighth note triplets. So it's really cool. The best thing is you test it. I mean, how sensitive are the pads? They are very sensitive. So, but that doesn't mean anything because I have like maybe clunky fingers or something, from all the Warzone playing. But it also depends. Yeah, blast beats. It also depends on the curve, how you set up the curve. But I don't want to change anything right now because I have set it up that it works best for me right now. So, but it's okay. It works great. I mean, you just have to configure it. Probably you want to have a specific setup for all kinds of sample libraries and not just go with one. Like, as I said before, with a spoons of salt, you're just preparing some curry, and then or you have like 10 meals you want to cook during the next days. You can't put like 5 spoons of salt or 2 spoons or whatever in there. So well, you can, Rickard, you can. How can the VST library understand what key each pad is? The thing is, you don't see this that well right now, even if I would change the camera again. You have yellow keys and you have blue keys, and the yellow keys indicate the white keys on the piano, and the blue, let me just try again, because you just see it like a piano. So this is C, this is D, this is E, and then you have F again. And if you have like a blue key in between, this would be C sharp and D sharp. So you can even play like a C major chord, to put it simply, by hitting this key, and this one. That makes sense? If we would have like a piano library or a pad library loaded, whatever. And then you can switch to, quickly want to mention this, to the drum editor right now here on Studio One, and then you have all blue keys that doing something completely different. But I didn't figure that out. I didn't figure that out. Yes, I just try to make stuff work, and if it works as I would use it, I'm done with it. I don't care about anything else. And you can set up velocity curves and all kinds of things, how sensitive you want the keys are. You can even hit like a full level mode, and then no matter how soft you press the keys, it's always the loudest dynamic. So if you really want to make trailer hits to be at the same volume all the time, let's say you're just in the final stages of applying all these last trailer hits, and then you just want to make sure everything has the same volume. So no matter how hard I hit, they are always the same. And if I just, untick the full level, you are back to the traditional dynamics. Okay, let's continue checking out a little bit. Brian's Huck, thanks for following. Thank you so much. Or I totally forgot Legato Plasma. Thanks for following too. I totally missed it 12 minutes ago. Okay. So we got movie percussion. So we checked out this one. We checked out the first conga. Let's check out the other two here. And yes, they sound a little bit too, let's say, verbish, but I mean, just easily, you can even save your own patches or whatever. I mean, you can do all kinds of customizations. Just go in here and just, you know, whatever you want. I mean, you got all these options that you just hop over here and say store preset. This is the beauty about, sorry, let me just switch screens again. So you're switching again, and then you see like this little button here, and then you say store preset. It basically works like as every other digital audio workstation too, and then you can just store your preset, and then you open up Kontakt here. I would see my preset stored below the Kontakt, you know, like that little Kontakt icon here. So that was the Conga 2. I can just tighten it right now for playing live, but then you have this kind of, let's compare this right away. So you can hear that there is something, even if it's just a few milliseconds at the beginning, it's kind of missing, you know? It's kind of funny when the dog lays down, when she's laying down on the floor, it always sounds like as if she was just, you know, falling, as if she was dying. So you always check around and see like what happened. Wie alt ist sie jetzt? Oh, she's 10 already, so it makes sense. Huh? Yeah, I don't know how to translate arthrose. Arthrosis? Is that the word? Let's check out the Conga 3 here. Yeah, the thing is, all of their samples, you say it right now, StateDev, such useful small libraries. It's just no-brainer stuff. You know, even if it's just stuff that goes well with other libraries, or if you just want to have some great sounds going, I would always, you know, if there's something new coming on from them, it would be just a total no-brainer. So let's check the individual microphones again. So you can get it more dry than this. Of course, you could have a different, you know, instance in between something. Let's just check the room microphone here. I mean, if I would try to answer this question again, where I mainly would use them, I would probably use them as kind of the most natural percussion library in the back of an orchestra when it comes to additional stuff, when it comes to all that stuff. Maybe like if I would be looking forward to compose a track with BBC orchestra only, but I would have something missing, I would probably dial these samples in because they would make perfect sense in terms of the distance. The room microphones in general, because, and you can quickly adapt this, you know, here. So you don't need like too much fancy stuff going on. You have like close, you have far, and that's enough for me. at least. So let's load the Conga set with rods. Here you can hear it pretty obviously. I'm hitting with Tighten on. You can clearly hear that there is something before the hit happening. So let's play this little phrase here. Let's put the Tighten on and just have 0. Now, this sounds like traditional, let's say, percussion libraries, right? You have directly the downbeat happening, or directly the sample start at the highest dynamics or something, at the peak. Now let's make it, probably we don't need even -100. Just have to check it. Maybe it's also, let's try it with maybe -80. Try some different, because I think it could use a little bit more. And of course it depends, totally depends on the phrase, what you're trying to achieve, and also on the track itself. Yeah, just reading again. Wonder if they could do something like How to Train Your Dragonish. I mean, you just have to find out. Even if somebody, I know I have this funny attitude when it comes to all this stuff, but even if somebody would be able to make it sound like in the soundtrack of How to Train Your Dragon, it doesn't mean that you or someone else will get it in the same way. You know, if somebody would come along and say, okay, I just tried to create some atonal John Williams trumpet, you know, staccato chords happening, it doesn't mean that someone else would. Maybe somebody else would do better with another library. So it's always like that big pool of all these ifs and woulds and how, and you know, all these factors coming together. So you can't say, okay, Thomas Bergeson, you know, he could use like the general MIDI set of a Sound Blaster card, and he would write a demo and it would sound amazing. The same goes with Uematsu for Final Fantasy. Of course, you can hear that all this old, for example, Final Fantasy score is just MIDI. It's general MIDI sounds, but it sounds so great when you just listen to it. And then you hear somebody doing like a perfect, or let's say like a well-orchestrated score, but they don't know how to treat the library and it sounds completely messed up. So it's always like, I would just do it. I would just try it and do it. And if you really want to make it work, you find a way, definitely. Let me check that folder again here. So we had Conga set with rods right now. So let's check the djembe with brushes. Just tighten the entire thing. it's really funny. I'm not really sure if that just tell me if this is just my brain, you know, trying to trick me that there is something sounding different. Tazemeta, thanks for following. Something is definitely happening. Hey Dirk, how are you? Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. Yes, that's the thing with DJ Adam with the Titan button. You get like these transients. Thank you. I just try to come up with my weird German brain, and I'm trying to just find the perfect term for what is happening. But it's definitely the transient, like the part with the highest dynamic, where you can say this is definitely where the downbeat is happening. So and of course, like the Titan button would be like that, you can just play it without problems. Otherwise, you would have to deal with the latency going on. And yes. So, Subwits, let me just answer your question. How do I get a sample to play a random pan? If they are raindrops. Well, do you know that the easiest stuff, I mean, to be just quickly explain it, I could just do it, pretend these are raindrops, right? Okay. So we just record these. Let me just mute the click. Let's just try to do this here for a second. Okay, do it like this, and then you simply go over here, and you say, you hop over to the automation, and then you say, sorry, you don't have to. What is going on? Where's my read and write? What is happening? That's embarrassing. Where's my read and write command in? This is today, yeah, this is kind of funny. Because usually you would just go in here and you would just pan. I could just I actually don't know where the read and write has gone, so I can just put write in here. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I just have to go to the mixer. This is what. Let me just put it like this. I'm sorry about this. So you go in here and you hit write or read, whatever you want. If you have a hardware control, you can do it with write. It's activating write, and then you can just automate the pan. Of course, that looks funny, but once you put it on write, you got the curve here, and then you just go in here and draw it. You know, then you can draw it like this. You can set up all this curve here. So this would be probably the easiest way on how to pan this stuff right away. And then you hit it on read, and then you can just play it with a panner moving around. It works a little bit different in each DAW, in each DAW, but this is basically the best way how you could do this. And you could just simply put it to like to read only, and then you can add and remove parameters like panning. Put this in here, add it and remove it, and whatever is going on for this channel for this instrument. So I hope this answers your question. Sorry for the blackout, but But this would be the easiest way to do it. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. I mean, of course, you could do like an auto pan. You could do like a plugin where you have like a random pan algorithm just going from here to there. You could even automate your auto pan if you just want to have it really precise. What you can also do is like setting raindrops, assuming you have like the simple raindrops that you can put several tracks on this and just say, okay, these raindrops come from, you know, more from the leftish side, the other one coming from the rightish. Then you have some general rain, whatever track below there that is completely stereo with natural rain. So you just fool the ear a little bit. Hey, Lucas, how are you? When did what happen? Syncing YouTube comments with Twitch, good stuff. Yeah, also the Twitch comments will be twitched with YouTube because I'm streaming to both simultaneously. Okay, so I mean, usually I you know, just live stream to Twitch only, but I just thought about it would also be a little bit interesting because I'm getting close to like 9,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yay! So I decided, you know, you can. And it clearly shows. I mean, if I just look on the stats right now, yeah, it's like that funny situation. We have like 21 people from YouTube watching and 21 from Twitch. So typically there would be a slight bit more coming from YouTube. Okay, so I always was a little bit afraid because of the claims and everything happening, but I totally forgot that when I'm not monetizing my streams. So when I do like a track review from you guys, or we have some soundtrack playing from a famous movie or whatever, and then of course I would just take care to not monetize the video. Yes, Dave, the last time you were here, that was probably like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 weeks ago. Just messing with you, but I'm streaming to like YouTube and Twitch simultaneously for like probably like a month, something like this. So just for everybody coming in a little bit later, as I want to mention this again, you see that band down here, that little banner running through. So if you just apply, if you're thinking about getting the Konmoto bundle, Oceania, Flute Shorts 1 and 2, and PerfPerc Volume 1, you can use this discount code that is running through right now. That is a little bit like over here and just, you know, hitting the edge of the screen in a little bit. You can use that and apply it and you get like 45 off. And this happens exclusively for this stream. So I have to say thanks for Jasper for doing this. And to be honest, it's just valid for this stream, right? Probably will stick a little bit longer. So Jasper's in California, so we have a little bit of time zone difference, but we agreed that this discount is not available anymore when the stream is over, or latest probably around midnight my time. So you would just have this offer going on for that time. I'm on stream, or plus minus a few hours. So just to let you know. So I don't want you to be disappointed if you just wrote that down and try to come back later, tomorrow or something, and it doesn't work anymore. So just to let you know. So we loaded the djembe brushes. Let's load the djembe hands. Oh. Let's listen to this close mic. I really like the close mics. It's not too, you know, anechoic or too sterile. Hey Jim Nim, how are you? Thanks for being here. Okay, let's check out the next one here. So we got the djembe with the rods. Hands, rods, right. I could just go up here, right? I know. Oh, I think we just have 2 keys here. Yes. It would it would have been funny, State Dev, when you would have said the last time you were here, I had hair. Okay, frame drum with hands. I think flute shorts 2 and 1 are totally independent. We can just quickly check this out for a second since we have the page loaded. Since this is a performance samples evening, let's check out flute shorts 1. Okay, so we got is based around performance sourced of the string spiccatos with a smaller string ensemble 8643. So there would be violins, violas, cellos, and double basses. That we have deconstructed from phrases into playable multi-samples. Featuring capellan orchestra, so we'd probably have to, maybe we can do it like this. Yes, so we can load them side by side. So we can make sure we don't miss something. Flute Shorts 2 revisits performance source chamber strings short, but takes things a step further. Just like in the original Flute Shorts, the multi-samples are completely playable and have a lively nature as they are deconstructed from performances. However, in Flute Shorts 2, instead of just one recorded speed of spiccato, there are multiple recorded speeds. 4 in all. All the faster speeds automatically trigger in based on your playing speed to accommodate faster phrases, which sounds more fluent because you are triggering samples. So basically what I'm reading right now already is that you don't need one to have two. So it's just a different, let's say like a different method on these spiccato samples. Yeah, no worries. I mean, that's the cool thing about a live stream. We can just interact with each other, and it's not just a simple comment on a video, which according maybe to time zones, I can just reply 6 or 12 hours later. Plus, I can accompany what I just said right now with beautiful frame drum samples. Isn't that cool? No, I didn't have alcohol today, so I'm just... Okay, let's check the next one. Frame drum with rods. It almost sounds like a... Is it the right word? Like a mouth drum? Something you have like... You know? Kind of... It has like a Nordic touch, like a Viking touch. I'm not sure why I'm getting to this. Yeah, you can see on the website that Oceania 2 is currently, or that it is about to be released. I think if you check the website again on the landing page, let's click the logo here. It currently gives you like the news and everything. So probably all the information you can see, like upcoming releases, Oceania 2, 100 singer epic choirs. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. Absolutely, definitely. Okay, so let's load, what do we have? Let's load the Gong Drum with brushes. Do not confuse, Gong Drum is not a gong. I could adjust a little bit the, let me just play it with keys here. It's kind of cool that the colors are, you know, kind of dancing on the Atom controller while I'm playing the keyboard. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense, but it looks cool. You have your personal club with you, you know, kind of. Let's check out the rain sticks. So this is probably something where you hear it a lot when I just hit the tighten button. Yeah, there's way more happening. Okay. But all in all, it sounds pretty great. Let's check out the shakers here. So we probably have a variation here of shakers. You probably hear more keys than... Let's turn this up a little bit here. What I also like about this, the entire structure on that library is that every key start is the same. So it's always like C and D, whatever, and you can just copy over parts and just, if you want to have, you know, whatever you think one conga with the hands sounds better than conga 2 or the 3, you can just simply copy over parts without trying to find the appropriate keys again on that other patch. So shakers 2. The dog is bored. I think I need like a room camera to capture like the live audience of what is going on. Hey, 7 Tears of Hope. How would you use a shaker in a track? To be honest, yeah. I mean, it's like, again, like this thing. And I'm really sorry that I say this, but I want you guys to change the thinking on, you know, to creating these rules. How would you do something? And then I tell you, you know, always use compression or always use like this EQ or always put it like this in the back of the room. And then you would kind of like, I would be the one sticking you in that category, or let's say put this thought in your head, like a set of beliefs, that you have to follow. So I would always say, you have to decide. Just forget all these rules when you compose music. And this is, in my opinion, and I just say this because I felt the same and still do when I compose music, that we try to apply too many rules. It's like people coming and saying, hey, how did you get that orchestra sounding so massive? And then I say, well, I didn't care about the panning. I just left all the strings in the center and all the brass too. I don't care if the trombones was sitting on the right, or the double bass is sitting on the far right, and the first violin sitting on the front on the left. It's like I don't care about this entire thing, as long as I want to make it like fat and juicy. Of course, if I want to make it traditionally, in the sense of like having a natural orchestra without any, not even really in the classical sense, then of course I would take care of all these things. And then it would make sense. But when it comes to creating your own music, I would totally break all these rules and do wherever sounds this right. So it's the same. I know even composers saying, how do you articulate these string accents? How do you get these string accents sound right? Because I remember I had a conversation with a composer, and I said, when I'm doing like staccato strings, it's sometimes a little bit hard for me with like one library doing like these high dynamic velocities and the lower velocities, and to create a line like, and he said, why don't you just take two, for example, cello patches, and have one playing all the time, and then have another one on top dying duck, 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 and it worked perfectly. So you have to decide what the track wants. So if I would use multiple notes on each beat, it could be totally cool, but it couldn't work on a track. Then I would apply reverb on a track with that shaker, and then I find out that I would take off the reverb because it sounds cool with already the baked in. Maybe the baked in reverb, that room here, isn't working at all, and I put it on solo and it works perfectly. I even remember a score when I tried to put the harp perfectly into the room and it didn't work. And I just put it to close microphones and put it all the way to the front without any reverb or anything, and it sounded perfect. So break all these rules and don't think too much when you compose music. Captain Jack. You got a great name there, Captain Jack Aubrey of the Royal Navy. So, yeah, but that's right. People who obsess over orchestra placement are the kind of people who avoid parallel fifth. It's like, I love that usually when I just have somebody who is like into educated, I admire these guys. I admire all these trained orchestral composers. But what I experience very often, of course, there are a lot of genius composers out there who can just do everything. But I just experienced this very often, that people who are very great at doing orchestral arrangements having problems with that outside thinking, especially when it comes. Yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of like, trailer music again. That cheap music where you stay on one key and where every track looks like a ramp towards the end. But this is it. Most of the time I experience that these people have problems getting outside of this rule thinking. They are so trained. Again, not saying everyone is, but I experience this very often. They are so captured or so caught up in this rule thinking that they have problems to get creative when it comes to the sound itself. And don't get me wrong, most of the time, these are also the people that complain about Hans Zimmer's music being simple. And of course, yes, sometimes it's simple, but that the difficult part is the sound. And usually the people that are highly educated when it comes to orchestral music, let me just write a Zimmer track, and then they present their Zimmer track and they desperately fail because they have no clue about sound design or how to meld or bake together synth sounds with orchestral sounds and all these things. So sorry for drifting off again, but yeah, but that sums it up basically. So what you did, sorry for drifting off, yeah, but that's basically says it. People are obsessed over orchestra placement are the kind of people who avoid parallel fifth. But sometimes it just sounds great to just do that parallel fifth thing. Tristan, let me just thank you for enjoying my channel. As a fellow composer over here in Edinburgh, how do you decide which library to use when you have, and you and I do 5 to 10 string libraries? Again, the same thing is as with, spice. Think about, you have like, I know the comparison really doesn't make sense when I have like oregano or something, and you have cinnamon, and you have curry, and you have curcuma or cumin on all these spices. Imagine these would be all string libraries with a different character, and then you just have to find things out. And this is what I mean when I say don't think too much. You have to sit down and just try 5 libraries, string libraries, and just find what works best. And you may use whatever, Spitfire, BBCSO. The strings sound awesome. And then you just use them maybe in a track, and they sound not that precise as, for example, yes, performance samples, flute shorts. So you just have to decide while you compose music. And after a while, you have that's why people always have 5 or 3 or 10 or all their libraries they use, like string libraries loaded into a track, because they just simply want to copy the parts and compare what sounds awesome or what works and what not. And sometimes you can buy a new library and you can sit there and it doesn't work, and then you're just happy that you have another library working. And so this is my workflow also. Sometimes you sit there and saying Nucleus works great, so Nucleus basically always works for let's say a basic like a basic ensemble that you have a sketch ensemble that you work. And sometimes, or most of the time, it sounds that awesome that you don't put any other strings on top. And then you try, all these kind of things. You just go over and try Berlin strings. And sometimes Berlin strings don't work. Sometimes it works. Then you simply change to Cinematic Studio strings and it works. Or no library works at all. And then you put Cinematic Studio solo strings on top and it works perfectly. And then you just kind of realize that you know nothing, that it's just what you will learn after a while, that how all your spices are tasting. And then okay, I need something that is a little bit more bitter or a little bit more sour or a little bit more sweet or something. And then okay, perfectly, I will put this into my meal. I'm sorry that I'm totally drifting off for that right now, but I just think I feel responsible a little bit to bring you guys away from that. Always do this or mostly go with this way, and then add this and it sounds perfect, because it doesn't work, A chef's name is Mr. Pepper, of course. Daniel actually suggested that I should do a Dr. Pepper's show sooner or later. So there you got it. Okay, let me just answer a few questions here, because that shaker you have sounds great, but so do 10 other libraries. Yes, on their own, they all sound more or less great. You have some libraries, especially as I mentioned in the last few streams, you have French horn legatos that are to die for. If I just quickly, let's do this real quick. Let me just load BBCSO. for a second, and we just load the horns. And I just switch over to the legato. Listen to that legato. Sounds awesome, right? So let me sounds absolutely great. But then maybe you have a line in a track and it absolutely doesn't work because you can't hear the transitions because they are a little bit too soft. And of course you could raise the transition, but that just means that the soft transitions become more loud, but they are still, recorded in that way. Sounds absolutely amazing, but it could happen that there is some action going on in that track and it sounds like this. So it's just something you just have to try, and you just have to find things out. And then sooner or later, you will just get an ear. And this is what I think all the great mixers are doing. They are not sitting there and saying, okay, take away like 2 or 3 kilohertz on the strings, and add this always on this, and take away this on the drums, and put this compressor on the drums. Of course, they have their... but they don't follow a rule or something that they know always do this, always do this. They want something to sound like this, and then they know the tools they have to apply to make it work for the entire track. So I hope that makes sense. This is a gymnym, right? This is struggling to find good short strings for action ostinatos. You've tried BBCSO, not great, I think. Perfectly, personally, I think they sound great, but it doesn't mean that they work great or sound great on anything. Then you try, for example, Metropolis Arc 1, and they sound absolutely amazing. Then you try flute shorts, since we are at this, performance samples night, and they sound absolutely amazing. So I think if you want to have the spiciest, harsh sounding direct spiccatos, it would probably either be Los Angeles symphonic strings, like the really old library from back then. The spiccatos are really, really hardcore tight, but they are also very dry. But also then I just got the light package back then, and of course the flute shorts that you can't beat. You can't beat the flute shorts for fast spiccatos. It's just amazing. If you try this out and compare it to something else, it's just like, wow, really? Yes. Where are my keys? Where are my working keys right now? Oh, I just switched because of the horns. See, I'm getting old. Okay, so we got the 2 shakers here. Let's load the next samples here. So we have taikos with hands. But don't, they totally sound different. Because what you usually hear is like, what are they called? Cacao or something? Like the ensemble that was doing the performance for the Matrix movies. This is like when you hear taikos being played with the rods or the sticks. Yeah, so I think the velocity curve is a little bit smoother on my keyboard right now. And also the important thing is, if you think, man, this sounds a little bit too soft, maybe just turn up the... And then you could still apply some EQ compression to make it even bigger, just in case if you want it a little bit bigger. What else do we have? We have tambourines here. So I think this makes the most sense here when we just play these. So you can hear that it just starts right away on the transient. Hey Nashi, I think you can't get shadow banned because of this. And also I think the shadow ban is always kind of like a funny myth that you think that something happened, but I wouldn't worry. 70 years of hope. You should do a live stream from your kitchen when you are cooking. You never know. Streaming a cooking night? Hä? Hä? Jemand hat gerade gesagt, ein Streamabend mit Kochen, weil ich das immer vergleiche. Also demnächst. Yeah, we just do like a... Why don't you say hi for a second? Willst du nicht mal Hallo sagen? Okay. She's shy. She doesn't want to come to the camera and say hi. Okay, enough tambourine. So all in all, I find these sounds pretty natural because, again, I don't want to talk, you know, in general, I love percussion libraries. I love them all. I don't want to talk bad about any other, but this library especially, or the PerfPerc volumes have something special. Have something special because that you always have this captured stuff that happens before, you know. So I will kind of like always prefer, you know, when you have a library like this, because it just captures the magic of the player, because this is how they play. Okay, let's hop over to the Tupan with brushes. Hey, Dragons Ruwak. Yet you made it. So this is something you can easily, you know, get fooled with, because this is like when you listen to that, it kind of sounds that there is not that much impact, but then you always have to see, you know, the library has been recorded very natural. So you just, if you just cram it up, if you just put lots of compression on top, this can sound pretty mighty. So even if I would just raise the limiter right now. Now I'm hitting 0 dB. I mean, I'm dropping like 3 dB over, but so this stuff can be pretty loud actually. So just turn it back to like natural volume here. I hope you're still alive over there. Okay, next one. So we have to pun with rods. That was just the brushes. And then, of course, you can still layer them. And we have the udu played with hands. And last but not least, we got Vibraslap here. Okay, so the longer you hold the key, the more release you have. Yeah, so in the beginning, I really thought that the sounds are a little bit too wet, but the more I listen to them, and probably, to be honest, I mean, I'm just playing with them tonight for the first time, really. I took a little bit of a test drive a few days ago, but all in all, I didn't work with them so far in a track, and this is what I find also very important. Let me just switch over again. What I find very important, that you always have to make sure to listen to all these instruments as if you would compose inside a track, because this is what I will never understand. I mean, you just hop to a forum and then somebody plays like whatever, you know, there's like a brass library being released and then saying, as it happened with Junkie XL brass, you know, like the trumpets sound artificial. Well, and then you just play them in a track and then they make perfect sense. Or you just put a little bit a cue on it, as you would have probably with every library. You have to just correct something because you wanted to make it match to the full track. And then it works. And, you know, all kinds of things you hear, like the legato doesn't sound... They said on Araya, as I just see it right here on screen, they said the legato sounds bumpy on Araya, but then you just listen to an action-adventure track in the typical style of, let's say, Thomas Bergerson, where you have a lot of fast-moving strings, and it works perfect. And then you just take care that the bumps, you just manually take care that the bumps, where the string player is always playing a little bit louder when changing in the note, that they are exactly on timing. And we did that when we composed our adventure track, you know, in the style of Elder Scrolls. And then suddenly it works. So I think people judge libraries too fast, depending on what they hear without in combination with the track. Of course, when they say something, you know, when they listen to a full demo and say, you know, I don't like, you know, whatever bumps happening in a library or something synthy sounding or the legato doesn't sound great. It makes sense to me, then it is something they don't like. But I would never judge the sound on something completely by just listening to the library isolated. Dulistan, let me just... there is no code place to put it on. Let me just quickly check the site. Because usually I can't imagine that there is no code field. So let's go to purchase here. I think it happens with it's on Fast Spring. So I think it definitely happens when you put out your name and you just go to the next field. Let's just pick I think the code field is always happening when you are checking out. It's the same with my store on it's the same with my store on Shopify. So I think this is not Shopify system. I'm not really sure, but let's do like let me just move this over. So let me just fill it out for a second and just say PayPal account, and then just in case something happens, it's just 25. So I'm not paying like accidentally 400 or 500 euros here. Oh man, actually I just have to log in, but I think after a source for you say it worked fine for me, discount on everything, thanks. So when did you apply it happened right after you picked the kind of how do you want to pay the payment? Maybe if you're still there, source for, just let us know. But I think you have to apply the coupon before you actually go into payment. Yeah, but did you go to the checkout Dulistan, or are you just before on the page? Right. So Source4 said it's afterwards. So in a sense, it's always when I go to my store, just to go sure, if I just go over to my store and I say, something, and I just add to cart and you apply a coupon, it doesn't work on the shopping cart already. People always confuse that. But if you go to checkout and then you see the coupon field, and I think you see it right here. And with the Performance Samples store, you just write add to cart, then check out, and then add the code on when you are on the checkout page, when you already confirmed your payment and everything. So let's just go to the site again to make really sure that it's working. But if there would have been something happening like this, Jasper would have definitely let me know that there's something not working. Dog, totally not interested. So, but I think that answers it. Just do you use less nucleus since Araya? No, because actually nucleus is not just strings. There's a lot more happening. So nucleus is still definitely a part of my template. And also, I'm just used to nucleus to the spiccato and the the ensemble parts. So I just have it in there. I mean, as I said, I just decide on what sounds better for the track. Of course, I could say, for the last 3 tracks, I probably replaced like some strings of other libraries with Araya to just test it. But maybe on some tracks, and I would replace it back. So I can't say this in general. This is why I always try to try to stay away from these. But I know you were asking more of experience. To be honest, what's also a thing is that I didn't compose that much orchestral music after my last demo, as far as I remember, because the video game I'm currently working on has more like a non-orchestral style, without giving something away. So to be honest, Araya didn't find much use yet for production music or for an upcoming, trailer album or something. Dulistan, to be really honest, even if you accidentally order the Konmoto bundle for 525, you could still hit up Jasper from the store and say, hey, you have been at my stream. So Jasper knows about, we talked about everything. We talked about, obviously, about the discount code and everything. And yes, I started making EDM. So yeah, we just talked about all the discounts and how to use it. So if you just even if you just accidentally miss the coupon field and you just write Jasper, I'm pretty sure that he will get back to you and give you like these, give it you for like 45% off. But it should work once you check out. Once you're right before checking out, there is the field where you apply the coupon. The discount. Yes. So I hope you had a good impression on PerfPerc Volume 2. And I think for today, I would already call it a day, because I have to save some voice for Wednesday. And for the recording session, it's not me singing, but I probably have to talk a lot tomorrow too. So I think on Wednesday it will be Ferrum. We will talk about Ferrum by the Keep Forest guys. Oh, and right. I just wanted to get to your question. Subwits. Do you generally take off any reverb sample libraries and use your own? Or use the ref in the library? This is another question, like I have to decide if it sounds good or not. Sometimes you listen to a track and you think something is not fitting. Maybe something is too wet, something is too dry. So you see I see all kinds of decisions that I took when in general composing music, that you say, you use the room, but you want to make it more, wet, more reverb on it. So you have the room samples and the baked in reverb, and then you apply reverb on top, and then it sounds perfect. Sometimes it happens that you just turn off the reverb or the hall samples and just use the close mics, and it sounds perfect. So it totally depends on the track. So I really would love to give you like a precise answer here, but the thing is, you have to decide on the track. I can't say, yes, in general, I take off any reverb samples and just apply my own stuff. It would work, of course. It would sound like something, but I'm not really sure if it would be the best way to do it. So I always decide that while composing or while mixing. Maybe it sounds great until you have a passage where you have like really fast 16 triplets, or like a high tempo 160, and you play 16th notes, and the staccato samples the spiccato samples start to sound blurry, and then you realize you have to take back the reverb on the room, but then again you think it sounds too dry on the sustain samples, so you start fiddling around with all kinds of things individually. So so all I can say is that it will be not possible to buy any other libraries, with Pepperbucks from external. But you're probably referring to the giveaways. But to be honest, I really found, because the thing is, I had some people saying, if I would do, let me put it different. If we would do like Pepperbucks giveaways, the YouTube guys watching would go out empty. They wouldn't do it because they would have to come over to Twitch and do it. And I don't want to, force someone over to use another platform that they are used to. If they are used to, feel comfortable on YouTube and love watching the platform and have problems, for example, on Twitch, it would be kind of unfair to do it. So I went back to another. Oh, actually, I just want to share something that I almost forgot, because I have a little giveaway going on for my own stuff right now. And if you want to, let me just find the link again. I wanted to let you know. So just in case, if you're interested in this, let me just post the competition I have currently going on. So I will just post that to you. This is eventually, or hopefully, the platform I will be staying on, because it's a little bit game-like. It goes back to the, initial system that you have to earn points, that you spread it around on social networks. But it kind of helps me. If you get a point for retweeting the giveaway, and it's not like the person with the highest points wins. Everybody wins. It will be selected by the system of the giveaway itself. But it's kind of fun because you have to play, these little games just by visiting me on Instagram or just checking by my store. And you can do this for every 24 hours and you will get a point for this and all these things. So if you're interested, let me just switch that over real quick and change screens again. You can see that I'm giving away the Everything bundle. Is basically all my libraries I have available in my store. Another prize, there is no first, second, or third prize. It's just all, even though I put like a little, different values, because the Everything bundle currently has like over 400 euros all in all. And so we will have another prize, will be a coaching session with me. So we'll talk about roughly, it will be a personal coaching session, so on Discord or Skype, and we'll just talk about your business or your composing career, your personal brand or whatever, and we try to find out what we can optimize. If we can optimize something business-wise, if you're just, looking for some kind of help to pitch for projects, if you want to get your YouTube videos set up the right way, or if you just want to have some music coaching, we can totally do that here. And also I'm giving away my little video online course, Audio Artist Essentials, plus the guide. So this whole thing runs for like 2 weeks. You can also see at the top, it runs for like 13 days, 16 hours. And yeah, so if you want to get in there, it's all. And the other reason why I wanted to use Player, by the way, which is the platform I'm using right here, is that it is from a legal side of things. So I researched a lot of stuff, to be honest. I was in the beginning, I just tried to go with UpViral, and then I tried Viper, but all the terms and conditions they have on there are really kind of, okay, but I just want to have them like really 100%. So because you can get in trouble with giveaways, or like when you do like email, when you have like when you want to provide an email course, or when you have people sign up your email list, you can get in trouble very easily when you don't follow a few things, for example GDPR stuff, or also with these. So they have like a perfect terms and conditions here for this thing. So it looks like a lot, but it's very important, and this company does it all for you. So just in case, if you personally look for a great giveaway platform, I can totally recommend Player so far. But on the other hand, I just used it for like a day or two, but I got this recommendation actually on my last stream from someone, and I just tested it. And the most important thing to me is to have all that legal stuff right. And if I also want to, collect all this experience and bring it into a course on what the best, for example, giveaway platform is, I also want to make sure that I have this tried out and researched, the same as I did with like email service providers, landing page builders, what all the kind of like social media managing platforms or whatever. So I love to do all these researches, and then because it doesn't make sense by just reading something somewhere and then saying, yeah, this is the best platform because I was able to afford it for like 2 months. This doesn't make sense to me. So Nashi, you said you're probably too stupid to find the add to cart button on the side. The add to cart button, I mean, the add to cart button should be visible on the website. If you just go to whatever library right now. Yeah, we definitely have a platform like the sellyourkidneys.com. Just like a big a big marketplace like eBay. And then we just like iOregon or something where when composers can offer organs. So Nashi, just in case if you're still here, you just have like a big purchase button here. You just press it and then you add it to your cart. And then you're on your cart. And then you move on and you just use it. But you were probably just looking for, you mean like the add to cart button that you can purchase several things? I think you have to do that afterwards. So you can put it on, you could put it on your I think the add to cart button happens afterwards, that once you pick your how to pay and all these things. I mean, you see my address, you see that on my website anyway. So that you see that afterwards. That you don't see it right on the Shopify system where you can add it all to cart and then move on. Nashi, as I said, if you have trouble, even if it happens that you go into your PayPal account, because I think with FastSpring, it's like this, that you have to put how you want to pay, and then it moves back to a final page, and then you can check out. It just picks your preferred way of payment. And then it moves to the checkout page. And then I think you can continue shopping and put stuff into your cart, or you can just move out. And even if it happens that you slip off some button and you pay the full price, just contact Jasper again and he will give you the money back, because we agreed that we have this 45% off discount happening. So it's just one email to Jasper, and I'm pretty sure he will get right back to you within like a few hours and get this payment stuff sorted out. So even if you accidentally pay the full price and you just missed of putting the discount code into it, just ask him and he will take care of this. Yes, Airsick, I can totally sign this. Jasper is definitely a nice guy, and yeah, that's really cool. I know him like a nice guy, and he definitely is. And you can trust us there. So if you have any problems, just write him and you get your discount, even just in case you missed it right now, you're slipped off a button or whatever. Just tell him that you watched the screen with me, the stream, and he will definitely help you out. Okay. So I think I would call it a day for tonight. I will be definitely here on Wednesday. We will talk about Ferrum, some modern trailer percussion again. And yes, so thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all the new followers. Thanks for the subscribers. Thanks for resubscribing. Arnold, if you're still here, I really appreciate. For 7 months. You are crazy. Seriously. Okay. So thanks for being here. See you on Wednesday. And yeah, just in case, if you still want to do that, I would always also... Borby, thanks for subscribing. Thank you so much. Prime subscription, I really appreciate. Thank you so much. Let me just quickly share my Discord community link here. I always forget to save that, so I should definitely do this. But I will just always have to go to YouTube video and pick it from my own video description. So I will just post that for everyone new. Just use this invite link to my Discord community. It's a really great community, lots of lovely people. Always already like 600 people strong and growing. I think like every day is like 2 to 3 people on average join the platform, so it's really cool. I really appreciate this. Yes, that's a good idea. I should probably put that down here. But then again, you couldn't really press the link, so you would just sit there and like SFD4 small v. But I will just try to find a way to connect Twitch and Discord a little bit better. Besides that, I already did. You just have to go, if you are on Twitch, you just go down to the description. You should find a big Discord button, a big Discord button, and also in the video description of this live stream, you should see like the invite link for Discord. Okay, so thanks everyone for being here, and hopefully see you on Wednesday, same time, 8 p.m. Central European time, Central European Standard Time, I have to say, because this 1 hour matters. So hopefully see you on Wednesday. Take care, everyone, and good night.